Hello and welcome back to Bold Today. I'm Philip Michael.
And I'm Tal Heinrich.
All right, so our featured entrepreneur today is revolutionizing the dairy and liquor industries with her new company, Wheyward Spirit.
Welcome the founder and CEO, Emily Darshuk. Hi, Emily.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Doing well, doing fantastic. I can't wait to jump into this. So tell me this. How did you get the idea to turn whey into an alcoholic drink with a buffalo?
It's actually a Highland cow.
Highland
she's
cow,
our
okay.
mascot. She has fabulous hair, and she embodies the Wheyward Spirit way above her. Yes, totally, you can connect. So before kind of jumping into entrepreneurship, I was actually a food scientist and worked as a product developer, and I always saw my role within that job as translating consumer needs into tangible products with science. So I got to kind of touch all different types of products, and I had the opportunity to work quite a bit in the dairy industry, and I actually saw the pain point of whey waste firsthand. So whey is a liquid byproduct of making cheese. You end up with curds and whey, and there's hundreds of millions of pounds that actually go to waste. And there's no reason for it other than there's not a market outlet for it. It's incredibly nutritious. It's creamy. It's very mild. It's smooth. There just wasn't a product outlet for it. And as a scientist, I knew how to make alcohol, but I was like, I'm going to make alcohol out of this way. And I just worked really hard over about 2-3 years to perfect the recipe. And, by the time you're making alcohol out of a different type of base, you might as well just rethink the whole process and try to create the best tasting spirit possible. And that's what we did with Wheyward Spirit. We're keeping a lot of that complexity and that uniqueness that comes from the whey base that gives us that creamy smoothness, but also through fermentation, building in a little bit of fruity notes and things that really work well with a lot of cocktails and also let you sip it straight. So, it's been a passion project, and every bottle, we make helps divert gallons of this whey that would typically go unused, and I think makes a superior tasting spirit for it.
You want to give it a try? You want to taste it?
I mean, I'm just smelling away. Ask the questions. I'm enjoying the ambiance.
I'd love to walk you through a tasting.
Oh, I'll do it. We'll get to that.
We'll get to that. So,
Okay.
Emily, where are you getting your whey from? I mean, I'm not a scientist. Can you walk us through the process? How does it turn into this?
Yeah, great question. So we work with cheesemakers, and essentially they're focusing on their core business, which is making cheese. And for every 10 pounds of milk they bring in their door, they can physically only make 1 pound of cheese. They're left with 9 pounds of whey. And that's how this becomes such a huge pain point and such a problem. So we kind of work with them, and we find the best makers with the highest quality whey, and we collect that from them to make sure it doesn't go to waste. And then we take that to our distillery, where we then transform it into Wheyward Spirit. So essentially, you can make alcohol almost out of anything. Essentially, you need sugars naturally occurring, and you need yeast. And we're leveraging that naturally occurring sugar within the whey and the milk, which is lactose, and our yeast, and we ferment that into essentially a whey beer. And then that's what goes into the still. And then through distillation, we're being really careful on how we're making our cuts to capture not only the alcohol out of that, but also those flavors and those delicate components and nuances that we're creating during fermentation of that. So you end up essentially with a clear spirit. It's 80 proof, just like any other spirit, but the big difference between us and a typical vodka or a gin is all of our flavors naturally occurring. There's a lot more flavor than you're going to get from a vodka, so you can sip it straight, but also it's a great foundation for a lot of cocktails.
So one question here.
There's a lot of components that are the same and a lot of components that are different.
So one question here. You said 9 pounds all wasted, and that leaves an avenue for you to use it for your booze. And like you said, you can make alcohol out of almost anything, and you can use it for almost anything. But are there any other discarded food materials that could be repurposed in this type of way?
Yeah, upcycling is huge. There is a report out that if you looked at all the food waste that occurs, it would be the third largest carbon emitting nation in the world. I mean, food waste is a huge problem. So there's a lot of avenues with it. I've seen people take old or discarded grain-based products and turn that into alcohol. And that I've seen some other types of spirits made, and I think alcohol is a great avenue for that upcycling. There's a lot of things that can be done with it, and a lot of innovation that can come in the spirit space out of it by just rethinking the whole process to focus on both, taking advantage of your resources, but also creating nice flavors along the way that are different than what's on the market.
I'm sensing a hint of vanilla here. Emily Darshuk, thank you so much for weighing in.
Weighing in. Oh, I like that one. Let's take a shot to that, huh? Shall we?
Let's do
At
that.
least a sip. Emily, you gonna take one with us?
This one's for you.
Yes,
right.
yes.
Let's do it.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Take time to savor the flavor.
Oh my goodness. Next interview about to be lit. All right. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks.
All
Have
right.
a good one, guys.
Take care.